Great. So many meditators in the West, as well as in Asia, hold scientific and secular worldviews.
Yeah.
And many are even allergic to religion altogether.
Yeah.
How important is it for these meditators to accept traditional Buddhist metaphysical concepts like karma and rebirth,
Yeah.
notions that are difficult, if not impossible, to verify for oneself? How do you make sense of these concepts?
Okay, first, I'm not, I don't tend to be dogmatic about these particular teachings and say, if you want to be a good practitioner, you have to accept karma, you have to accept rebirth.
Yeah.
But what the way I present this is that you start off, practicing those aspects of the Dharma that you can see for yourself, that you could verify for yourself, and see whether they're beneficial, whether they really induce beneficial changes in your life. Okay, if you can confirm through your direct experience that these particular that these teachings are meaningful to the extent that one could see them for oneself, and these practices are beneficial to the extent that they can make positive transformations in your life, that should serve as a strong inducement for placing trust and confidence in those aspects of the teaching that lie beyond one's present capacity for direct confirmation. So what I would say is, don't write these teachings off. If you can't see them, confirm them for yourself, and you don't want to believe them, you just want to stick with what you can see and confirm for yourself, as long as you engage in the wholesome, that's good enough. But if you really want to practice the Dharma to the full extent, then I would say that these teachings provide the illuminating background, framing, and context for the doctrine and the practice. And I have some sort of arguments that I use, or let's say illustrations that I use to show, the tenability of some of these teachings like karma and rebirth. Maybe, should I give you the example?
Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay. This was something that occurred to me when I was living back in Sri Lanka. I was living in the forest hermitage in Kandy, and we didn't have mainstream electricity there, main current electricity. So I would get my information about what's going on in the world from, we had a portable radio with shortwave channels, and I would listen every day to the BBC World Service, which came in, I think, on shortwave band 1. Okay, one day I turned on the radio and I went to the place in the band where I get the BBC World Service, but it didn't come. And then I went back and forth along the band. What happened to the BBC World Service? Couldn't get it anyplace. And then I looked more closely at the radio, and I saw that through carelessness, I must have hit the band dial, and it went from shortwave 1 to FM. And on FM, or AM maybe, on AM, couldn't get BBC World Service. And then the analogy occurred to me. Somebody might be on AM, the AM band, looking for BBC World Service, can't get it. And then he comes to the conclusion, BBC World Service is a myth, a fiction, maybe a construct of British metaphysics propagated out of maybe the halls of philosophy department of Oxford University. But I can't confirm it for myself, so BBC World Service doesn't exist. By the same token, we could say, okay, the Buddhist texts speak about deva realms, celestial realms, ghostly realms, hell realms. I can't see them with my present mental capacity. So I say, they don't exist. But if I'm able to switch the bandwidth of my mind through powerful samadhi to different levels, then I can tune into those other realms of existence.
Mhm. Mhm. But if for many of us who maybe have trouble tuning into those realms,
Yeah.
to those bandwidths, do you think we need to buy into the concepts to truly uproot all the mental defilements and achieve liberation? Or even just proper ethical reasoning from a Dhamma perspective? Are these dependent on these concepts?
This is something about which I can't make apodictic comments or can't make, an absolutely authoritative proclamation.
Yeah.
But it seems to me just intuitively that in order to have the motivation to uproot the mental defilements and to gain liberation, because liberation means being liberated from punabhava, from repeated existence, the cycle of repeated existence. And the mental defilements are what sustain the round of repeated existence. So it seems that without having a conviction about the truth of the reality of karma, of rebirth, that one would not have a view that is in harmony with the right view of the Dharma. And so it seems that the inability to place complete trust and confidence in those teachings would be an obstacle to reaching that final goal. That's just my sort of conjecture.
Okay. Okay.
Though
Thank
things are possible that maybe that go against what I assume to be the case.
Okay, great. So speaking about right view,